Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon if you're watching this right before class. Thank you so much for joining me today. I want to talk a little bit about the assignment we're going to use with our StrengthFinders book. Now, this is that standalone book that I have you all get because it presents an excellent opportunity not just for this class, but to move forward from this class and as you work towards your first jobs in your chosen professions. As I've mentioned in class, this is the most popular personality assessment that you would take if you're working in a government organization, federal or state level, or if you're working in a Fortune 500, a big business sort of company. So these are very popular. This is a very popular approach to personality assessment and team management. So we're going to talk about it a little bit today. I want to give you just a brief introduction to StrengthFinders. Then you will actually go through and take the assessment yourself and review your own strengths before submitting that strength assessment and the assignment that's at the end of this video. So let's go ahead and get started. So StrengthFinders is based around the principle of positive psychology. And this is a really prevalent test because it's built from statistical data. So it's a personality assessment, but unlike Myers-Briggs or an Enneagram approach, it's actually based in scientific research, specifically population data analytics. It was developed by Dr. Don Clifton, who is a psychologist and one of the pioneers of what's called positive psychology. Specifically, this is an approach that looks at psychology and counseling as a way of helping people develop their optimal human functioning. So what does that actually mean? Well, Dr. Clifton dove into this idea that all people have strengths and weaknesses. And what we generally work on are our weaknesses. There's a famous quote from an education scholar who said, if you have a child who's exceptional at tennis and poor in math, most parents would hire a math tutor. I would far rather hire a tennis coach. And this is the idea. I, as your teacher, am not an excellent athlete. I have never had good hand-eye coordination. There's one picture of me from basketball in middle school, and it is truly a travesty. Even standing still for a picture, I didn't know how to hold the ball correctly. However, I do have a talent for speaking, and I've always been good at speaking to people and communicating and talking in public. That's one of my talents. And so the idea is my talent is my natural ability, a naturally recurring pattern of thought or feeling or behavior that I can apply productively. So this does not include negative self-talk or thinking that you're failing at things, but the things that you're good at just naturally, right? I've been able to talk to people and entertain them and pull them in and talk with them since I was a really little kid. That's a natural talent. When you combine that with knowledge and skill work, then you begin to get strength. So I've been public speaking when I was in elementary school through 4-H. I did some when I was in high school through different competitions. I did some in college through forensics and additional public speaking. And then I went on and I became a teacher and I practiced even more. I built my knowledge and my skill on my natural talent. And so now speaking in public is absolutely one of my strengths. And that's what we're going to work on with our Clifton strengths, is that you have natural talents and natural abilities. And if you build on those, improve your knowledge and improve your skills, you can improve your strengths. And we do that because of this metric that is set up about effort versus reward. So let's say we take your natural strength in tennis. Right? If your natural strength and just on an average day, you're a pretty average tennis player just the first time you pick up a racket, but then you give it everything you've got. You put in 10 out of 10 on your energy. You can be up at an exceptional level. But if you're really not very good at tennis, if like me, you pick up a tennis racket and are more likely to hit yourself in the face than to hit the ball, you could put in that same amount of effort. Right? 10 out of 10 for effort. I could put in everything I had to tennis, and I'm still only ever going to be average. The idea is that, yes, sometimes you need to deal with your weaknesses if they're something that's required, but you should focus most of your hardcore energy on taking your strengths, the things that you're already okay at, making them truly exceptional. So now is the time to go ahead and take your StrengthFinders assessment. It's a great idea to put this video on pause so you can come back to the activity. You'll go and open the sealed packet in the back of your textbook. You'll use the code and the website that are listed there. Read chapter 1 of our textbook of the Red StrengthFinders book after you take that assessment. It'll explain some of these things in more detail. And then read the individual sections about your personal strengths. This is a great time to go ahead and pause the video. Now that you've made it back here a little bit, we're going to do an activity. So you've figured out what your strengths are. And you're for today's activity going to submit your strengths as one of your submissions. But I also want you to think a little bit about how you would use your strengths. So imagine this. It's the 14th week of a 15-week semester, and you have a presentation coming up in my class. But one member of your small group has had an exceptionally difficult and traumatic semester. It's just been a really rough year for your group member. They are far behind, and they're not going to be able to catch up. They have not contributed well to the group. They have not been pulling their fair share, and they are really not prepared for this presentation. However, based on the requirements for my class, you all still have to present together. So, how are you going to use your particular strengths, those top 5 strengths that you have? How are you going to use those in a way that will help deal with this submission? So the thing that you're going to do is finally submit your strengths report, so that summary with your 5 top strengths and your answer to this video activity for today's assignment. Please submit that for today's reading notes. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you soon.